Okay. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. And Patricia. Hello, Patricia. Yes, we're here.
Yes, hello. I had to unmute myself and I was looking for the button.
Okay. It's
Good
so nice
afternoon.
when, like,
Yeah,
where are you? Where are you?
I'm here.
Okay, welcome, welcome. What are we doing here? Because when it's like some people I see regularly and some people I only see in these meetings. And some people don't even know me. Like, Cindy, I don't know you, and you don't know me. So let me just first introduce myself properly, because I think I've never done that. I just start talking like very enthusiastically and yay, we're all open and the cafe is open. I am Esther Verwoerd. Don't try to pronounce that in English. Nobody can. We're talking English because there's at the moment there's one international guest, and I won't reveal her. Don't smile so big, Karin.
I will.
And yeah, I am a full-time coach and also very active as someone that really wants to make people aware of who they really are. And it starts with being aware of where you are and how you're feeling. And then disentangle. Is that the right word? I don't know. To disentangle the whole web that we've created to be this person. And I am on an exploration. I am not there, like I'm not enlightened or whatsoever. But sometimes I have these lighter way of being, and I think it's very helpful for other people to be in the neighborhood of someone that is in connection with that, sometimes or regularly. And it helps you. You don't have to understand anything that I am talking about, and still what happens is the wisdom inside will just be it will get a little nudge or a little tickle. And the more you think, the less you will get. But since being a human being is about thinking, I'm also very, very interested in what does thinking do for a human being and what makes us human beings. Because like when you listen to other people about what they experience and how they experience life, it seems like a big struggle. Like we were just thrown on the earth and just here you go and you find out. And we fall and we scratch ourselves and we cry and we argue with other people and with ourselves, and we are desperate, and sometimes we have good days and sometimes we really have bad days. And I was like that. I was really like that. I used to be someone that looked up to the sky and said, really, really, today, why me? And you might laugh and think, wow, she's really self-absorbed and egocentric. But actually, we all are. That's how we grow up. The world revolves around us. And when you discover that, it doesn't get easier, because when you try to see the world as something that doesn't revolve around us, it becomes even harder. How can you disappear because you're here? How can you not think what you think? Because you already think it. So one day I always go into the bath when I feel a little bit low or when I feel a little bit sick. And I got into the bathtub and I sank into the water, and I thought to myself, how can I think past my depressive or depressing thoughts? I was thinking all these thoughts of, this is not going to work, I'm not good enough, I can't do this is too much work, I don't have enough time. It's not anything special. I think you all recognize these thoughts, no? And I asked myself, can it be done? Can I think beyond my own thinking? And the strangest thing happens when you present yourself a question or a problem, something that you want to find a solution for. What happens is immediately you are thinking something about it. I just overheard a conversation about some people that did Landmark Forum last weekend. And then someone said, I think Marie-Claire, you said something there. Yeah, I already know what it was because it's exactly the same as. If you think that, that's what you think, and that is real for you. You cannot think anything else because that's what you think. How can you think anything else? You have to force yourself. So if she would say to herself, it's not the same, it's something completely different, and I might be interested to know where it is different, then she might come up with new thinking, but it's still coming from the same source. It's probably the same. So what are we doing here when I say, is there a way of going beyond your own thinking? What are you listening to? I'm just curious, what opens up, or does anything open up? And here is where your thinking become words that come out of your mouth. But you don't have to, of course, because I want to make something clear. This is a course where, well, I can speak, and Bart knows I can speak for 1.5 hours, no problems whatsoever. He doesn't really look forward to it. He wants you to speak or do an exercise. But I can do that. So I would rather have you speak about what's in your head. What do you think you will? Why are you here? What made you come?
Well, to keep you from speaking an hour and a half in a row. No.
And Christine, like immediately.
What a funny.
I think Christine doesn't like me.
No, what I realized when you were saying this was that I am in that state. If I am in a state of listening, then you can say whatever you want, and then I will have also answers or replies in that state of listening. So if I would have to come out of that state, or what can I do to come out of that state, is come from a place of a different kind of listening. Listening for, yeah, sometimes I do the exercise. What would be the opposite of what I think now about this? Like you used the example of a landmark. I was not here yet. And Marie-Claire saying something about that. What would be the complete opposite of the thinking, oh, yeah, that's something like that. Like how would it look, or how would it feel if I would be in the standpoint of, this sounds like a new kind of food or something. How would that taste? Or just to open up with.
How would it taste? Wow. That's already opening up doors, but that's not an easy thing, eh? How would it taste?
Or um, just put my mind on a different thing, like I like the color of the shirt she's wearing. Completely off the topic.
Are you listening then?
If you put it that way, then I could say we are never listening. We are always in a kind of listening, but we are never listening. I mean, I heard women say that if they have sex with their husband, they're thinking about the dishes. Are they having sex then?
Absolutely. Or putting the cat outside because you hear it meowing, stuff like that. Yeah.
It's the same thing. You can listen and listen and listen and listen to three things from a different standpoint. So you are free in your listening. I think the only problem is when you get stuck in believing that the standpoint you're coming from is the reality for all of the world.
Okay. Or at least it is your reality and it's a fixed reality. Okay. Can you experience a different reality than what you think? What do you think? Just raise your hand if you think. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Can you experience a different reality than what you think? No. You can experience a different reality, but can you experience a different reality than what you think? No. So if your reality seems very limited or you don't like it, you just have to think other thoughts, no? Yeah. But does it work? Sometimes it does, huh, Karin? And sometimes not. Yeah. So we do all sorts of things. Sorry, say it
That's
again.
why I'm here, because in summer it worked better.
Yeah. When it's a good day, it works better. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and with
just
the sun and going to the lake, it works better.
Yeah. Someone could even throw a tomato at you and you would still have a good time. Like,
Yeah.
it's that guy, he's having a hard time. I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
I just thought about that this afternoon that I always use my sister. It's not really fair because it's my perspective on my sister, but we really connect on a deeper level because we come from the same nest. But the way we see life is so different that when I see her, I'm always happy to see her. And then within 15 minutes, it's already a clash. I'm very irritated by her negativity. And the way she sees things is like always a dead end, always worried about what could go wrong. And I'm just really, really irritated by it. And then I oppose it. So I say like, yeah, but you could also see it like this, and it doesn't have to be like this. And maybe if you would open up more to the possibility of, and then of course she feels not heard and not seen. When I just had a really good day, the sun is shining, and maybe I had something in the mail that was really nice to read, or I had a really nice mornings together with Bart or with the children, and then my sister into this negativity, it might not come through. It feels like this barrier of joy, and it takes a while before someone gets through. But of course, your family knows the ways to get through really easy. While, I don't know, the delivery man or the grocery, the man from the grocery shop, he just doesn't get you. He doesn't get through to the big It's like a space that you build around you of joy. Do you recognize that? So how does it work? So we have to build a wall of joy, and then we just burst joy everywhere, you know? We just throw it on them, and we just cover it in like melting chocolate, and they will suffocate in it. Do you know those people that always go for the positive side?
Sounds like a lot of stress, and it does not sound real.
No, it's hard work.
It's like pretending all the time.
And how is it when somebody always goes for the positive side? Oh, well, like this. Is it, that'll pass, you know, and look at the bright side, because how does that feel?
That's not what we want at that moment. We want some comfort and a listening ear, but not all this positivity, because you're so down. And then, yeah, you cannot go all the way and make it positive, because you get even more down. That's my impression.
You'll be even more down. How does it work? Do you know? The secret is in something that hides, and it hides so well that we hardly notice. So what happens if we're down and out and somebody comes to us and without deeply listening to us, goes immediately for the positive side to cheer you up, you know, to say, actually, it'll pass, you know, it's not that bad. I have this too, and I'll get you out of it. Why does it work the other way? Why do you feel more down? It happens inside.
To me, it feels like I'm not supposed to feel like that. So then I feel like wrong. So I should not feel that. I should be happy, and so it's like not shame. I'm not finding the word. Not even in German. Yeah, like, yeah, I can't think of the word, but that it's that I should do different, should be different.
It's
That
the
it's wrong
huh?
what I'm doing.
Yeah. It's something with should. You should be different. You should be like this.
Yeah.
You should not be like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that makes me feel even worse. Yeah.
It feels like the problem sits with us, but in fact, it's what's happening around us. But it feels like personal, like, oh, it's me, damn. Why? And then you start questioning yourself, and that's why you go even more down.
It's me and why. Yeah. I started with that. Huh? It's always me. It's always why and me. But it's something that you haven't said yet. And it's not something that you are, it's something that you're aware of, sort of, but you forget to name it. Ruud, you were about to say something?
Yes, what popped up with me is that you don't feel listened to if someone else is saying the opposite things, if someone is always making something positive out of my negativity,
Yeah.
then I don't feel listened to. We're not on the same level then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's also a feeling, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So what Karen brought up was, I feel that I should feel different, and you feel that you how would you say it? I don't feel listened to. I don't feel heard. I don't feel seen. And Patricia was something about, oh, it's all up to me. It's all me. Why me? It's my problem. Yeah. And it's still not the thing that I'm looking for. But
What was the question again? What were you looking for?
all these words about the question was, what happens, why you feel even worse when you feel bad and someone comes from this positive side, you know, this over positivity. And it's really nice because someone brought up this example, and it's not about the content, it's not about the story, it's not about the ingredients, it's something else. Christine. Oh, you're not unmuted.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think it's because you attach to the thought. You think it's your personality. It's think that you cannot think you identify with your thought. That's what I think.
Yeah, so when I'm asking what's actually happening, why you feel worse, what's actually happening? You already said it sort of, but not
You
in the...
identify with the thought. You think the thought is you.
Yeah, so what's happening? You're
sad, for instance, and you want to keep the sadness because you think it's attached to you. It's something like that.
Yeah, you're not right,
Right,
but still,
almost.
yeah, it's so much easier. Ruth.
Yes, it's a bit like what this Christine is saying, but you try to prove for yourself why you are right to you said. So
Also correct. You are very educated. That's what I get from you. Like, oh yes, we all know all these things, but we overstep something.
Is it that you take it personal?
Also correct. Also correct.
Okay, I think you're identifying with your thoughts.
Yeah, that's what Christine said. Yes,
Mhm.
correct. Not the answer.
You put a wall.
You believe the illusion?
Mhm.
Yeah, well, that's highly sophisticated, Annette. There's a whole class on that. Yes.
I give up. I give up.
You give up, Marie-Claire.
Yeah.
That's very you. No, you don't give up. Just stay.
I want to know. I want to understand.
Yes, but it will disappoint
Then
you.
you will find out in the course.
Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. Okay. And Patricia, you shouted something in the microphone.
Yeah,
What was-
sorry. I was just saying, you put the wall even thicker than it is. You close
Mhm.
yourself.
Yeah, that's something that we do, but it's also not what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Yeah. It is something so simple, and the whole, let me read you something, okay? There is a voice in your head that never stops talking. I bet you've noticed. It's the one with opinions about everything. It tells you what it likes and dislikes, what's good and bad, what's acceptable and intolerable, how you're better or worse than others, how you're too old, too young, too quiet, too loud, too. Too. 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . 。 。 . . . 。 . . . 。 . 。 . that voice in your head, what does it do?
Judging.
Judging. What is a judgment?
Get
Right.
out of here with all this positivity. Let me
Sorry?
alone. Leave me alone.
Is that what you think? Is that what you're thinking?
That's what I would think when somebody comes in and I'm in a mood where I want to kill everything, and then somebody joyous comes in and talks about the birds and the bees, and I just want to then get out of my sight. Or
Yes, you all want to hold on to your feeling bad.
I want to hold on to my feeling because I'm right and it's not so bright, and you will find out that it's not so bright.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one. You will find out. You won't stay this way. It won't take a day and then you're back again. Yes.
And I even would
Tell you, I told
organize
you
it.
so.
Yeah.
Are you saying that when a positive person comes in? Are you saying that out loud? No. Hardly ever.
Sometimes I organize something that he falls and also has a bad time.
That's not the same as saying out loud.
Okay.
Please go because I want to cut your head off.
Sometimes.
And if you stay here, I will. Yeah. You already said it. It's what you do. It's thinking, immediate. You cannot stop doing it. You're doing it now. You were thinking, what does she mean? I know what it is. I know what it is. What does she mean? It's the thinking itself. And you never say it out loud. So you don't actually, you're not aware of it. Not completely. It would scare the hell out of you if it would just come out of your mouth. You wouldn't make friends. And you would definitely not be your own best friend. I don't believe you.
I have experience with that with some people I do almost say everything I think. And sometimes when I just say it before it got to me, then it's even more interesting. And I learned that for those people, it's then difficult to know if they should just listen or do something with it. So some of them asked me then to beforehand tell them, now I'm just talking and please just listen. Or tell them that I'm just talking and that it's not for them. So like when I live with someone in the house and I'm talking basically to myself or in the room, it's good for them to know that it's not directed towards them. Yeah.
If you get that information, sorry?
And I found that quite helpful.
Yeah, it is quite helpful, but not a lot of people do that. Huh? Yeah. I just spoke to someone this afternoon and he had a really bad relationship with his mom. I think half of the world has a bad relationship with his or her mom. So that's not exceptional, but he told me something really simple, and that was she got sick. She got cancer and she was in the hospital, and then he was constantly beside her. And she said, please go away. And before he would be devastated, before he did work around his thinking and his feeling, he was devastated. He thought it was all about him. She didn't love him. And now he could really see that this was his mom's wish in the moment, because she was feeling sick. She wanted to sleep. And then he came back, and then she said to him, like, oh, it's nice that you're here now. It's that easy. But how many times do we feel something completely different and we make up a story about this? I want to tell you something that happened to me. My mom is having a hip operation soon. And she's been waiting for this for more than a year. She has a lot of pain. And although when the date came that her operation was due, like she knew when the operation was going to be, the pain got less. That's also very interesting. Huh? As soon as she knew when the date was, she had more freedom of movement and less pain. But still, I talked to her and she was worrying about it. How can I do this? She's by herself. My dad died 13 years ago. So she's very, she can take care of herself very good. But yeah, she doesn't know how this will go. So she was thinking, okay, can I maybe go back home the first day and stay at home, because I rather stay at home by myself. Nobody is walking around and I don't have to talk to anybody. I'm just with my hip and my pain and blah, blah, blah. She didn't tell that, like specifically, she did later, but she only said to me, I think I'm gonna stay with your sister. She will put a bed up for me and then I will stay there, and when I'm good, then I can go home. And I felt totally ignored, because I already offered her to come and to take all my work and to be very busy so I can take care of her and not be in her face all the time. She didn't mention that once. She just said, oh, this is probably what I'm going to do. And I made it all about me. So I was really irritated. I listened to her and I thought, why is she doing this all the time? Okay, I said, and when were you going to inform me? Like a nice question, huh? And she said, well, I was going to call you, but now you're calling me. My mom never calls, but okay. So we sort of got into this weird conversation where I felt irritated and she felt she was the wrongdoer. And then this afternoon, when I had this talk with this guy that talked about his mom, I thought, oh, I am listening from my perspective of being always the one that knows last. Because that has happened, or to my recollection, it has happened a lot of times. I wasn't listening to her worrying about how she would handle this and what would be the wisest thing to do for her. And this sounds really easy and very like, what's the matter? But this is what we do all the time. We listen constantly about what it means to us. Let me read a bit more. Your inner narrator is dramatic. It exaggerates like crazy, and then it claims it's not exaggerating at all. Anybody recognize that? And this one, you're having a rough day, what we just were talking about. You deserve a long nap. That's what your inner narrator tells you. And then when you wake up, it says, I can't believe you took a nap in the middle of the day. What's wrong with you? Recognize that? It's like slapping you in the face all the time, like left, right, and you cannot do it right. So that's why I said, you are not your best friend at all. And it's all your thinking. Now, knowing that doesn't make it easier, doesn't make it better. You all know this. It's not like, oh, wow, that's what thinking is about. Okay, I know it now. I will take care of it and I will notice it every time and I will just not react to it. You will miss it all the time, because exactly what Christine said and Crystal said, you are completely one with your thinking. What you think is true. What you think is your reality. And you cannot experience any reality outside of your thinking. Let me give you an example, and I want to really have a group experience about this. I'm going to give you a problem that a lot of people have, and it's about time. We are time obsessed. We all feel that we don't have enough time. Is there anyone in this room that thinks otherwise? Or hasn't said once like, oh, I wish there would be more hours in the day because I can't do it. Or I wish there would be more hours in the day because I don't have any time left to just have a nap without feeling guilty, or just have a stroll around, or just do nothing, or just for no reason. So the problem is we don't have enough time. How would you handle that? Or how have you handled it? What have you done to create more time? And I'm going to give you an example. I can become one of the members of the 5 o'clock club. I get up out of bed at 5 o'clock, no matter how dark it is, and I straight away start with my schedule. But of course, I will crash during the day. I probably need a nap, or at least I will have to go to bed at 9:30 at the most, because otherwise I can't hold that up. That's not only willpower, it is something that I really, I have to get used to it, and it doesn't make my day any longer. What I also did was look at how much time I'm wasting. Well, that was sort of a solution, because I really saw how much time I was wasting, especially on thinking and pondering and arguing and discussing and hoping and evaluating and perfecting, and they call that procrastinating, but yes, it's all about thinking. So that was a sort of a solution, but that gave me time. Can you give me more examples on what to do with this problem of not having time enough? But
just do one thing after another and stop thinking about not having enough time. Just focus on the things you are doing and do them, and do them one by one, and keep filling up the minutes and the hours. And when you're tired, rest. And when you smell, wash.
sounds easy, right? But then we just agreed, I think, on the fact that we can't stop thinking a thought. So if you just say, okay, stop thinking, but what if you're thinking? Because you can't stop thinking.
Maybe stop thinking is not a good word, but just overrule it, not placing on the steering wheel. Just allow the thinking to be there, but just don't let it rule the steering wheel.
Mm-hmm. Is that hard work? Because if this is easy, why doesn't everybody do it?
In the beginning, it's hard work, and then it gets easier and easier.
Mm-hmm. Easier and easier. Does it ever get so easy that you stop thinking?
No, you become good friends with your thinking. They're in the back seat.
Okay, so that's sort of a solution, eh? It's not 100%, and it takes a while. How long does it take? Can you do that in a month, or?
No, 50 years or something.
That's not very appealing, is it?
and then somebody joyous comes along while you're working hard, and then you want to kill them.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody that just is completely laid back and easy and relaxed and never has any worry and he or she does his work and has enough on his bank account and does 6 holidays a year, and here you are being one of the 5 o'clock in the morning and always doing, not thinking, overruling his thinking.
I miss the joy in that thinking. Like I have to overrule, it's hard work, I have to do it. Yeah, I don't feel any joy. So for me, right now, it's not as easy as it was in summer to always find joy, but that's because why I'm here, because I already experienced that with joy, it goes a lot easier. So then it comes more natural. And then there is less thinking because there's more doing and more living. And then I naturally connect to what is the next step. I think now I cited Bart or you. I think I heard that in summer.
Yeah, so it's just that where you are now, where it doesn't come easy, to go towards that feeling of joy, that is the jump you want to make, because then everything becomes
I want
easier,
to
there's less
reconnect
thinking.
to that, yeah. And I already know that trying it alone all by myself does not work. Because I think for almost everyone, it's connection. It means a lot, and like to experience oneself in connection. And I think for myself, it's maybe even more. So I really long for connection, and in times like right now where there's less connection, I sense that it's different. I mean, I also work on being able to live my life also when I'm by myself, but I have more joy when I regularly am in contact with people. Yeah.
Yeah, so other people, being around people is important to you. But what I also hear, Karen, is that you want to experience joy no matter what the circumstances, no matter the weather,
Yeah.
no matter where you are, no matter winter, summer, you want to experience joy. Yeah.
And I know, or I don't want to experience the emotion of joy all the time, because I also had that, and then it was forced and unhealthy. But like natural joy every day, I think is possible, and that's where I want to get. Yeah. To see where there's the joy in my day. Yeah.
Yeah. So the question was about time and not having enough time. Let's stay with the question and see how we can solve this problem. Thank you, Karen. Anneleen?
Yes, so I got a really good tip which worked for me. I had the tip to not focus on the result. And I'm trying to say it in English. I have get to have so much done in the end, so much more. It's so much more fun. It's like a big difference for me. So I have so much more fun and much more done to let go of the result and let
Nice. Let go the result and then you vanished.
yeah.
Completely formless.
Exactly.
Yes, just be.
Yeah.
So I have it seems like I have more time, or not more time, but I double the outcome in the same time.
So you got the feeling that you have more time. Yeah. So what are you actually doing when you are not focused on the outcome of what you are doing?
More present in and more less resistance in how things go the other way than the result I want. Just relax in what is happening.
I want to address Sandra and Patricia and Cindy. Annelien has already done 3 months of listening. So I really recognize how you come from a different perspective than when I would ask this to a regular audience who didn't have the experience of the listening project. You're already in the different listening, but it's a good tip. So you can also use it as a something that is really practical. But Annelien, what would happen if I would say to anybody like on the street, okay, just focus on what you're doing and don't mind the result?
I think they will say you're crazy. How can you have things done?
Yes.
You have to focus on the end point.
Yeah, because in the end you'll have this talk with your manager or whatever, your boss, and he looks at the figures and he said, well, what I'm tracking here is not what I want to see. You're not so focused on the result. You know, that's the reality that a lot of people are living in. Eh? Yeah. Thank you. So this is a good tip, but it doesn't work if you're coming from a perspective of solving the problem of not having enough time. So what can you do more to create more time? Stig.
For me, I go slower and I keep up the silence. That's helping me. When there is a lot of things to do, I say, okay, slow down, look what's for you, and then some things are not so important anymore also to do. So I skip them from my agenda.
So you create clarity on what's important,
Mm-hmm.
and you do the most important things first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, good tip. Does it create more time?
Yeah, for me, yes. I have the feeling that I create more space.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Somebody?
What? Okay, Bart raised his hand first.
Go ahead, Bart.
If time is also a thought, then it could sit in the back of my car with the other thoughts. And yeah, maybe it's a bit like Annelien said, don't take that time so much in consideration or something. Don't make it so important.
Don't make it so important. Yeah. So if my neighbor comes and he says, I don't have enough time, I want more hours in the day, and then you say, don't make it so important.
Yeah, it's just your thinking.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't help either. Eh?
I'm not here to help my neighbor.
You are too advanced, all of you. I want you really to have a look at the problem of not having enough time and really see what you're doing. Because I know that you know all this, but I bet, Stig, that you're not always slowing down when there's a problem and a feeling of I don't have enough time, you know, and that counts for all of you. You've had maybe an insight, but what's usually happening is that we feel rushed and we feel that we don't have enough time. If we're spending a whole day with the kids, I know I'm like that. After half an hour, I think I should be doing something valuable, like something worthwhile, something, oh, I still have so many tasks to do. And what am I doing here? Listening to my daughter complaining about something, blah, 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 or telling me even a nice story. It's nice to listen to, but I'm bored. I'm not the only one. And I love her to death. I really do. I love seeing her, but I'm bored within 20 minutes. You know, when she sends me a message, like the 5th message of the day, I put it on 1.5 or 2 speeds because, and she already talks really fast, but it's like, so 2 minutes become 1. It saves me time and I get the message because I don't have enough time. So when you're in that thinking, you cannot feel anything else than you don't have enough time, right? So what's the effect of that, of being like that? What's the impact of how do you feel?
I feel rushed. I'm not enjoying the time I have because I'm thinking about different things than what is happening right now. So I'm never where I am.
Yeah. True, you're never present.
Yeah, and then there can also not be real connection with what or who is there.
Good.
Yeah. In a way, it's been said already, but what comes up with me is that when I notice that I have the feeling of not having enough time, I discovered already that there are a lot of things are taking place in my mind, and they are consuming time before the time it's up to that thing I have to do.
Yeah.
So it's like I discovered when I stop thinking about something that I have to do, then suddenly there is more time. I discovered it with tasks or things I had to do for my work, and especially the things I didn't like very much. They take up a lot of time, but especially in my head and not while I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I stop thinking about I still have to do that, then suddenly there's more more time.
Mm-hmm.
That's and the past months there has been several of those things going on, and that was really a discovery for me that when I didn't bother that much, that I got more time, or the feeling of more time.
Yeah. The feeling of more time, which is the feeling of more time is your reality, right? Yeah. Christine?
For me, what helps is to write down what I have to do. I write a to-do list, just write it. So I'm not stressed about forgetting what I have to do, like things to buy or people to call or little tasks like that, or appointments to reschedule, etc. When I write them down, I know they are in my notebook or on my agenda, and preferably I already write them in my agenda when am I going to do them. For my work, I learned that I have to task I have to do, I write them already. I'm going to do it Tuesday, on Thursday I'm going to do that, and I schedule it between my meetings. That gives me a feeling of I have it under control, like that. And another thing that helps me is realizing that I get stress of things I have to do in the future, and I'm already projecting myself doing it, and how am I going to do, and what am I going to do first in my household? Do I have to do the dishes first, or the washing first, or the shopping first? I'm already doing that, and then I say, no, okay, stop doing that. I'm just doing now. I decide now, I do the dishes. And then when I finish the dishes, I decide what I do next. The only thing I still struggle with is the prioritization. Thinking about what's more important to do first, what's more important to do second. I'm still struggling with that. The prioritization of tasks when you come back from a holiday, then you have a whole list of emails. I have to go through all them and then prioritize. That's stressing me. But being just in the doing and wanting, that's helping it be present and being now, doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on the task I'm doing. That's all.
Yeah.
Letting
So-
my mind wander about what's going to do next.
Yeah. Or about that whole list of emails. Huh? That's
Yeah.
already a thought. Huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
Annette?
Yeah, I wanted to say a little bit like Christine. I recognize that a lot about time. But what I also sometimes compare it to is not to focus on this time. It's like when you have a bit of a mosquito and you focus on that, it's like there's nothing else in the world as just the itch from this bit, and you can't think about anything else. So then I try to focus on something else. And that's what I sometimes do when I feel like overwhelmed. I have no time. Okay, stop. You're going to be present and go to something else, focus on something else. And then sometimes that helps to be more quiet. And
Mm-hmm. Lots of tips and lots of also professional tips and advanced tips. A lot about being present. Very good. But it's not the case that we all experience that this works like we feel without worry. I hear some worry in there, like, oh, but sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it works. Like Christine, it's very good to schedule something in on the date that you have to do it, and then lead up to it, and then put that in the agenda too. It's very organized, and it works very good, and you can have the feeling of more time. But overall, when something happens unexpectedly, and there's a lot of things happening unexpectedly, we are out of that way of doing, and we are not so organized anymore, and things, we have to really make an effort to make it work, right? And we also have a lot of thinking around it, because it's not about that, but I want to focus on the thinking. And the thinking around it is much more important than what we do and how we do things. Because how does it make us feel overall that we all have to do this to make it work? Karin said rushed. Rushed is like it's not a very restful place. We are worried that we're not going to make it. Sometimes we're relieved. Oh, got all everything on my list done. You know, how long does it last? Not very long. No. So it's like a continuous, sometimes you can feel like a hamster in a wheel, you know? You want to get out of the wheel of time. So how does it make you feel? And what's the impact on you? And then think of a time in your life where you didn't have to do all these tasks and when you were not so focused on time. How old? Maybe at the most 8 years old, 9, 10. There's a lot of 10-year-olds already worrying about time, not getting all these tasks done. A lot of mums and dads also worried about that. You know? So it takes a toll. It has an impact on how we feel. And what's the impact of how we feel? What happens? Usually we go and find a solution for our problem, what we're feeling. So can you see that you're actually, from the problem that you are aware of, I don't have enough time. That's what you feel as a reality. You're trying to find solutions. It makes you feel like not how you want to feel, and then you try and find a solution for that. And you can go on a holiday and you will feel better, but it'll start over again. And that's what life is for most people. Oh my God. And Bart likes it.
No, my nervous system was shouting. So give us the solution, Esther. Stop asking questions all the time.
No, there is no solution. I don't have the solution. But the solution is not in your thinking. So the question was, what do you do when you feel rushed? You will have rushed thinking. Because that's what we always overlook. We always overlook that we are thinking in the moment. It cannot be that when we feel rushed, we have relaxing thoughts.
So we have to change the thinking because that's the last step, right? In the
Yeah.
cascade of or the
Thinking.
first, yeah, it depends how you see. For me,
Yeah. How would
for
you
me,
do
it's,
that?
yeah, for me, it's all about expectations. I mean, I can easily schedule my work. I'm a business person, everything goes pretty well. But then I compare my home activities. I'm like, okay, everybody is expecting a lot, and I don't know how to schedule. I don't have sufficient time, so I'm getting stressed. But it's all a matter of stop thinking about what others would expect from you, and this already helps me. I'm like, okay, I should make dinner now. Honestly, I should be down in the kitchen making dinner. I'm like, okay, my husband is there. I hope he will do it, but no better if we don't do it. And maybe he will be angry. And I'm already thinking, how will he react? And that's what I need to stop because that gives me a lot of stress and having lack of time. And so for me, it's really about what others expect from me that I should stop. And that will help me in finding this balance in time and priorities. It's all about setting priorities for me. Yeah.
I'm not so interested in that last bit, the priorities. Sounds like something
That's
of
more
the,
business.
yeah, and it's good, it's fine. But I'm very interested in how you describe actually how you're sitting here. Because I think we all can relate to that. Like, I know for sure, I recognize this when when I said, oh, I'll be back at 10, but it was such a nice party and I was there and then at 11 o'clock I forget to call and then it's 12 and I come back home past midnight and I find a grumpy man or a man that's already asleep and then he's grumpy the next morning and we never talk about it and then I feel bad. I already felt it at the party. I wasn't enjoying myself because I was already anticipating and thinking about what will he think and how will he react. And this is not something that I experienced with Bart, but I experienced this with my mom, for instance. You know, when I was young, I made an agreement. My mom expected me to be home and I wasn't home. And then we got into an argument, and it wasn't about that. It was just, I wasn't even having a good time anymore because of my thinking around it. So your thinking is how you feel. So if you don't like how you feel and you don't like how you are thinking, you have to find a way to find a solution for that thinking. And that's quite easy if you're about expectations and you don't think how someone else thinks about it. You have to have a conversation about it and then make agreements. Hey, I'm going for an hour or 1.5 hours in this session. Can we agree on maybe cooking after that? Or maybe you want to cook, or what do you want to eat? And Bart is smiling because that's the conversation we had before. I can tell you so much more about that conversation, but I'm not doing that now. It's very interesting what happens. There's a lot of thinking and we don't say it.
You should have seen Esther's face when I said, we have a problem with cooking tonight because you are teaching. And then after, do you want to eat before or do you want to eat afterwards? And at first, I think she thought that I would not cook tonight. I think that, I'm not sure. But everything in her face said she thought that I was not going to cook.
No, you said it was a problem. So I was, oh, is there a problem? Yeah.
Okay. I
But
said,
it's very nice because we can do a session on just that. What I said and what you said, and where the thing becomes something that we think something about. We make it mean a lot.
I kept it with the agreement that I cook after this session and that you eat when you want to eat, because it was not sure how much calling you still had to do after this. And that's completely fine with me. And it's not like, that's completely fine with me. No, that's completely fine with me.
It is now. Yes.
Already 3 hours ago also.
You know, we really have to be honest about this because it's really that simple. If I come into the kitchen and I say, oh, are we eating potatoes? You know, it's really easy for Bart or anyone else to go like, yeah, don't you like potatoes? You know, it's like, why are you saying that? We make it mean something. Yes, but I heard it in the tone of your voice and I saw your right eyebrow going up. So it means something. And half of the time we are right. And half of the time we are not. Yeah. But we never say it. Not even with our partners. We never say it.
But what should we do then? If my kid comes in the kitchen and says, oh, no, she says, oh, are we eating this? Your example. Should we then stop questioning? Like, why are you saying that? Should we stop thinking?
What do you make it?
Yeah.
What comes after that? When she said, like, I'm saying that to you, like, are we eating that? And what comes up in your thinking?
What's the problem?
Yeah, what's the problem?
I'm making
There's no
making
problem.
food. Be happy.
Yeah.
I'm making dinner.
Be
Next
happy.
time you do
That's
it
it.
yourself. That's what I would say.
Be happy. That's it. She doesn't look happy, and it's your task as a mom to make her happy. Or be happy because you need to be happy because that satisfies me, because then I think I'm doing a good job and it's okay here and I have it under control. It's true, right? Yeah. Christine.
What would be such a relief for me is to stop feeling guilty. Stop feeling guilty. I'm living my life. I'm making my choices. And I have tasks as a mother, and I think I should be perfect and do them. And now I'm going up and down because I'm verifying the kitchen and the oven, and because dinner has to be ready when Victoria comes home. I'm making it difficult for myself because I was not courageous enough to make the agreement. Okay, I'm going in a Zoom meeting again. So
Exactly. That's what they think again.
because yesterday I was in a Zoom meeting and the whole weekend I was in a Zoom meeting. So today I didn't dare to say I'm going to have a Zoom meeting anymore. So I just hope he comes home after the Zoom meeting, and when the dinner is ready, it's really like that.
This is the same as what Patricia brought in, eh? It's the same.
It's so stupid, and I know it, I just
You see, Marie-Claire, landmark doesn't work. You don't have to do it.
It's worse because you know, now you know.
Exactly.
She has
It's
to
worse.
exercise, eh?
Don't do it.
Yes.
Yeah, for me also, because of the lot of Zoom meetings, I decided to stay at work.
Okay, that's you're escaping. You're just
And what did
hiding.
she? And what did she say? What did you? Do you remember what you said? Because you have to leave in 2 minutes, Esther.
Yes, I have to leave.
Yes. Because you have a meeting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you have a meeting?
Yes, yeah, truly.
Okay.
And there are 12 people waiting for me now. So
So you actually stayed at work, but you also have a meeting.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So
have two
why-
meetings, but I said
Yeah.
I have one. Fair. I didn't say something. I said I have a meeting.
Yeah.
So it's half the truth.
So actually, you have an affair.
Okay, authenticity is right now. Yes.
So
Tell him later. I will tell him later.
there is no freedom there. Huh?
No.
No.
Mm-hmm.
This is very good. Annette?
Mm-hmm. I will leave you. Bye.
Yes, go and have your meeting with the 12 people that are waiting for you.
Okay.
What I learned from my daughter, but also the teenagers at work, is when they ask something like, when they say, "Oh, are we gonna eat potatoes?" Is why do you say that? When you ask why, then you know why, and then you don't have to think why they say something like that, because that's exactly what I did. Why do you say that? Like, you don't like it? What I'm cooking here, and you're telling me that. But they didn't say anything. They just say, are we eating potatoes?
Exactly.
So now I try to say, why do you say that? And then I know what they are thinking.
And it's not always what you think it is. Huh? It hardly ever is.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Great. This is, I know it's not a very structured way of exploring this, but exploring your thinking. When I talk about this, like, oh, this course is about exploring your thinking and really observing your thinking. Yeah, that's what I've been doing the past couple of months. I've already did a mindfulness course. I don't wanna be so mindful of my thinking. I don't want to observe them anymore. I don't like my thinking. Like this course, it's actually not a course, but it's an exploration in what your mind does, what a human mind does, what makes us human. We all do the same. We all do the same. And that's actually very reassuring, and acknowledging also that we are human beings, we all have a mind, and we cannot stop our thinking. And our thinking is much the same. Although Patricia has a different husband to think about than I have, and then Christine has. They look different. They might also be, I don't know, doesn't matter. The content doesn't matter. We have thinking. We think about a lot of things, and we cannot stop it. But we don't have to observe our thinking constantly. What I am presenting is actually completely based on the Eastern philosophy, the yoga philosophy. It's completely, you could call it meditating, but it's practical. It really leaves you with a clear sight on, oh, so that is what a human mind does. I'm going to present that to you in the Zoom meetings. I'm going to present to you what the human mind does. Like all human minds compare. We all do. And I say we all do, that's what our minds do. They're completely in measuring and weighing constantly. If you are better or worse, if you are taller or smaller, if you are bigger or little, or if you are smart or dumb, or etc., etc. Constantly. We cannot stop that. And trying to stop that drives us crazy. Trying to be like, oh yes, but I am in an equilibrium. I'm just completely in balance. I don't feel that anymore. I don't have any emotions. I'm over that. We all do. It's normal. So I would call actually this course really feeling that we are all normal, and really, really embracing our normalness, because we're all human beings with human minds that cannot stop thinking, because that's what they're made for, minds. But we are much more than that. And that's what I want to present, that you will have a feeling, a thinking and a feeling, because thinking and feeling goes together, a feeling of what we actually are and what is available for us outside of our thinking. One of the things is to communicate with others, because there is other thoughts coming. Oh, I haven't seen it like that. Or, oh, the way she speaks about it, that's new to me. Or, oh, I recognize that. It's the same. So it brings you to different thinking, but that's only on the layer of thinking. I'm talking about something that's bigger than thinking. So the exploration about not having enough time cannot completely be solved effortlessly on the same level as that we experience time. Time doesn't exist. It's something that we made up for a good cause, but it doesn't exist. A tree doesn't know what time it is. It knows exactly what time it is to grow and to stop growing and to shed all the leaves, but it doesn't need a clock. It doesn't need time. It's a human invention. So you cannot solve this time problem on the same level as the thinking level. So how do you do it then? And that's not something that I can tell you in 5 minutes. And I won't even tell you, I will point you towards it by, first of all, seeing where we are limited by our personal thinking, our personal minds, and what these personal human minds do, what they all do, and what we just have to take into consideration and just see it for what it is and be okay with that. And then when we know that, we can also see, where does thinking actually come from? Because did you learn to think? Did somebody learn or teach you what thinking is? Have you ever thought about that? Because I find this magical. Somehow, somewhere where you were growing up, you had your first thought. And somebody explained it to me like this. When was it that your mom came into existence? When did you have your first thought of who your mom was? Do you have any idea? Like a 3-month-old baby, you go like, yeah, it's mama. Where's mama? Where's mama? Does she look up or he look up like, oh, there's mama? No. Somewhere in this growing up, suddenly mama becomes a thing or daddy becomes a thing. It becomes someone outside of you. Before that, nobody existed. Mama didn't exist. And that's where the whole thing starts. Because it becomes your mama. And my mama is like this. And my daddy is like this. That's where the whole story starts. Nobody made you think. You just started to think. So it's a divine energy, actually. But what is it? What is it made of? And here we are trying to solve this problem with our personal minds, our thinking, everything we know. And there is so much that you don't know. And it's not in your thinking. It's not even in our thinking together. You can come a little bit further. And what's actually happening when we meet, you open yourself up for the possibility of seeing more, of knowing more. That's what happens. But I bet that you all had the experience of being under the shower, or just this moment of, not a big moment, just something, a moment that you weren't thinking, and suddenly you had an insight. The same with dreams. And it makes total sense. You didn't think it up. It just came to you. And that's what this course is about, to open you up more for the wisdom that's already there. But it's covered underneath layers of thinking, because thinking disappears into the background and you're not even aware that you're thinking constantly. And you need exercise to practice this muscle of noticing and to get the hell out of your thinking. And then you might be surprised what comes out of your mouth. I just spent a few days with Dominique Scafidi. I started with him a couple of years ago when I started the butterfly experience. And he's always about that. When he's good, he's having a good time. You ask him a question, something comes out of his mouth, and he's a talker. He's Sicilian, so he's like, constantly making gestures and talking really fast. And then after 5 or 10 minutes, he says like, oh, good thing this is recorded because I don't even know what I said. Something came out of his mouth. And sometimes it's rubbish and sometimes it's fabulous. It's so complete that, oh, what was he saying? And you can do that too. You can be like that too if you open up and stop thinking. But you cannot stop thinking just like that. So that's why no, that's not why, but it happened. And I designed, not on purpose, by accident actually, a way of going beyond your own thinking. And it takes a little bit of commitment, but you can see it as every day you take a moment to just listen. That's all. And you learn to listen. You learn to listen deeply, and you will come up and see the wisdom that comes from inside. You will be amazed what you come up with. So what I'll do is, who is here that hasn't? Okay, but you can send it to Sandra, and Annette, you can send it to Cindy, the link of the page. If you want to join, you can go to the page and you just click on the yellow thing that says you want to join, and then it speaks for itself. It's really easy. You can pay with that yellow button. And then we will meet in December and January, all in all about 7 times. You don't have to always join live, but preferably so. Because, yeah. Bye, Christine. Have a nice dinner. And the meetings are completely about the listening project that is in the background that you're doing yourself and that you are also communicating about in a WhatsApp group. In a specific way, I have a specific design for that really helps you build on that and helps to keep it sober, simple, and clear. And then the meetings will go, we will have conversations about the human mind. And you will really get a clear sight on your own mind and how it works. And, you know, it's not that you don't know anything about this. Actually, you know a lot about this, but it hasn't been told in this way that it makes it completely clear why you do what you do, how you act and react, and why things happen in your life. And you can really see that happening. You can get a clear sight on that, which makes it so much easier to see you move around in your life and see what the impact of that is on the people around you. And then when you see that, you can make the choice to do it differently and just experiment with that. Little things. It's actually very easy. And I think that every kid should know this, because we start to fill up our brains when we're very young without even noticing or knowing how this brain works. And it works the same for everybody. It doesn't matter what sort of trauma you had or what the diagnose you got. A brain is a brain. It works differently for all of us, and it works the same because it's all human. We all have thinking and we all have feeling. And that's what I want to learn and to teach you, because it makes life lighter, easier, and more fun. So I hope you will join me, and I'm really looking forward to it. Does anybody have any questions? I don't want to go over time too much, but I am happy to talk to you if you want, if you need a personal connection and to ask your questions out of the group, away from the group. That's also fine for me. Just reach out through the one that invited you. Okay. Anybody? Any questions? All clear? Great. Yeah, all clear. No, not all clear. Of course not. Are you excited about it to know? Or you could also have an opinion like this is more or less the same as, sounds like, and it will sound like. I tell you, you will be sometimes confused because it sounds like something that you've already heard, but it is different. It's something that is overlooked so many times. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Nobody has a question. And it's 2 minutes overtime. And I wish you a very good evening and a nice dinner. And make good agreements, Patricia.
I know, but yeah, anyway, this meeting came in. I was not expecting this meeting this evening, so I wasn't able to make any agreement. He was at work. I was, yeah. Anyway, we will handle it in a good way.
Yes, in a good way.
I hope so. See,
Okay.
I'm not coming on Friday. No.
Okay, great. Okay.
Just kidding.
I will handle that.
hmm
Okay, have a great evening and see you.
Bye.
Bye.